This is the early morning of the 2nd of November, 2025. We're up to number 15 on Pete Hegseth's strike against reported narco boats. You think maybe the cartel's eating into the CIA's drug profits? And they're getting rid of the competition? We know that the government's been in the drug business more than once. Iran-Contra brings something to mind, does it not? Let's have a listen to this clip. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Article on Fox, written by Brandon Betts, B-E-T-Z, published on the 2nd of November. Title: War Department escalates campaign against narco terror at sea with 15 strike. They will not succeed. U.S. military kills 3 suspected smugglers during expanded maritime campaign against narco terror network in the Caribbean. There's a short clip where you can see them vaporizing this vehicle in the ocean. The U.S. military has launched another strike on what it calls a narco-terror vessel in the Caribbean. The Secretary Pete Hegseth said Saturday, underscoring a widening campaign against drug-linked militants. The attack killed 3 suspected smugglers, Hegseth said, adding that this was carried out in the direction of President Trump. Today, the Department of War carried out a lethal kinetic strike on another narco-trafficking vessel operated by designated terrorist organizations, DTO, in the Caribbean. Hegseth wrote on X. He continued, the vessel, like every other, was known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotic smuggling. You mean the same intelligence that told us that the Twin Towers were taken out by 15 or 13 hijackers? That same intelligence? Was transitioning along a known narco-trafficking route and carrying narcotics. You don't know what it was carrying. The only good news is if you look at Peter Hegseth, the guy's turning all gray. Look at him. That plastered down Brylcreem hair, or whatever the hell he's using, doesn't hide the gray. I wonder when he's going to start coloring it. These narco-terrorists are bringing drugs to our shores to poison Americans at home, and they will not succeed, Hegseth added, vowing that the U.S. military will give them the same treatment it did Al-Qaeda. Well, Al-Qaeda is still surfacing, is it not? We will continue to track them, map them, hurt them, and kill them. You don't think he's a target for the narc? You don't think that they got their eyes on him and on Dumpy Trump? Saturday's announcement marks the 15th known U.S. operation against suspected narco-terror groups in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific since September, part of what Hegseth has called the ongoing maritime offensive against transitioning cartels. The U.S. military has now killed at least 64 people in these operations, according to defense officials familiar with the campaign. President Donald Trump has defended the strikes as hardline measures to disrupt the flow of drugs into the United States, arguing that the cartels have evolved into transitional terror organizations, and the America is engaged in an armed conflict with them under the same authority invoked after September the 11th, 2001 attacks. Yeah, September the 11th. I've done, a couple of 100 videos on 9/11. And anyone with even a half a brain knows it couldn't have happened the way they said it happened. They didn't have access to nanothermites. they didn't have access to an energy weapon. You know why an energy weapon was used? The Twin Towers are built in a bathtub. If that multi-million-ton structure fell straight down, it would have destroyed the bathtub. And then all of Manhattan would have been underwater. That's why they used an energy weapon to pulverize it and turn much of it into dust. There were steel columns flying through the air. These are 52 by 48-inch steel columns turning to dust. Bin Laden didn't have access to energy weapons. Some Democrats renewed their calls for the answers on Friday, sending a letter to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and Hegseth that urged the administration to disclose the legal justification and a list of entities deemed tangible under the President's directive. We also request that you provide all legal options related to these strikes and a list of the groups or other entities the President has deemed targetable, the senators wrote. The letter, signed by Senate Minority Leader Chucky Schumer and several senior Democrats, includes Senator Jack Reed and Jeanne Shaheen, accuses the administration of selectively releasing conflicting information to certain lawmakers while leaving others in the dark. Separately, the bipartisan leadership of the Senate Armed Services Committee released two previously undisclosed letters sent to Hegseth in late September and early October, pressing the Pentagon to outline its legal framework for the strike and to identify which cartel the administration is formally labeled as terrorist organization. So, what do you think, huh? It's absolutely insane. I'll attach the link. Pass it along. And thanks for listening.